Now, see, this is why we have to have these kind of conversations, because there's so many people that are in the church that feel that it's their job to save other people. Like it's their job to put them in the heavens. Like, no. And even with, saying that I have to plant the seed, your seed is living your life as Christ has created for you to be living. That's the seed.
Right.
You don't have to say you need Jesus and offering judgment rather than an example of how having Jesus can be.
It's just as easy as leading by example.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
That's it.
But people take it past that, and you can't take people's religion by force. You really can't do that, because we're all adults. Those of us who are speaking, we all have our own individual thoughts and concerns, and we're not all the same. And God does not treat us all the same. That's why I love God the way that He is, because He made us individually, and so therefore He treats us individually just the same. And that's what I love the most about Him. God knows how to talk to us, because He knows how to get to us and how to get a response from us.
Absolutely.
And that's a great thing. But and when Tyrone was talking about the fact that he's not necessarily like a holy roller, and I think that's because we all know how we are around those holy rollers, and how sometimes my eyes may roll to
just
the back
a little
of
bit,
my head,
just a little bit,
just a little bit, because I know that's not the way that I would want to be approached. I would never approach someone else in that way, because I know for me that track record is a failing track record. For me,
it's just a whole bunch of judgment. That's like what we've seen a lot of judgment. People judging each other, saying that you should be this or you're going to hell. Like the fear tactics, they're just not going to work any longer.
And that's why that doesn't work, because those quote holy rollers seem to be, I won't say all of them, but they seem to be the most judgmental, because it seems like they are desperate to make it so that someone else is doing life the way that they think that they should be doing it, according to God in their mind.
Absolutely. Hold on a second. Miss Kim says, I'm a believer, but don't try me.
Okay.
That's the Peter aspect of it. I'm a believer. Don't try me though, because you might lose the ear.
Peter will get with you. Okay, Peter will get with you.
I'm going to be an advocate for you, but you cross me the wrong way, I'm gonna have to tell you about yourself. And that's going to be rooted in truth, though.
And that's what I loved about Joseph's text concerning Peter and Judas. I'm thinking like the average person would think, Judas seemed to have done everything right leading up to the point that he betrayed Jesus. And Peter, you would think that, if anything, Peter might, because Peter was cussing. Peter was, was a rebel rouser. Peter was something else. So you would think that he wouldn't be worthy to really be Jesus's right-hand man. But turns out he was.
And I'll try to bring this to a close by saying this. We're all different. We don't have to be what the church says that we are supposed to be. That kind of suppression will drive people crazy, and it has been driving people.
And it drives people crazy because you're presenting them with an unreasonable expectation. And when that person realizes that they themselves and their individuality can't meet those expectations, it leads them down a path. And we all know what that path is.
Religion puts a lot of unrealistic expectations on everyone.
Not God. Religion.
And we kind of flip it around and say, God says. No. And we point this finger so hard that it begins to drill a hole in people's head.
That was Mother Bertha that said, not God. Man.
And I'm like, to minimize a person for whatever trials and tribulations they have gone through, and to wrap it up with the smoking gun of, you need God, bullets flying at them, you're bringing death into their life. You're not speaking life into them.
Being yourself is a celebration of how God created you.
And yes, so people can change through God. But for you to say, I see what you're doing. God ain't in you. Wrong approach. God is in everybody. The question is, are they seeing it in themselves?
And then soon, eventually, we're going to have to start asking, how many people have you driven away from God by judging them? Because they're not just going to say you're horrible. They're going to say your God is horrible too. If he's cool with judging me and try to kick me out for being me. This is who I am. This is why I try my best to say as often as possible, when you start your process of getting with God and creating a relationship with God, you don't have to change who you are to be in relationship with Christ. If there's anything that God wants you to not do any longer, it will come up eventually.
Right.
And it comes up in beautiful ways. Like you just don't have a taste for it no more sometimes. That's how mommy said she stopped smoking. She just didn't have a taste for it anymore after she got saved.
Because of the relationship with God, you would change.
Exactly.
You're not going to change because you start the relationship.
No. And because, or you didn't pre-change who you are.
You can't pre-change and start the relationship. The relationship starts to change.
Absolutely.